All right, thank you guys for joining. This is the House of Wood podcast, and I got my nearest and dearest friends, Josh and Jalen, and myself, Diontae. We're gonna just be talking about a few topics that we always talk about to ourselves, and we're gonna actually record it and put something to the ear of you listeners. It's mostly a video game podcast, so most of our topics will be and revolve around video games. Just to start it off, I think the first thing we wanted to talk about, that would be, again, it was Final Fantasy VII Remake. We just kind of giving thoughts about it, and I'm gonna go ahead and pass it to y'all because I actually did not play it.
I guess I'll start first. My name is Joshua. Um, like Deontay said, we'll be talking about Final Fantasy. As far as the remake, I finished it over the last month and thoroughly enjoyed it. And I did have experience with the previous Final Fantasy VII related games. I think that does make a difference about how they approach the design of the game, and I think it's really going to make a difference on how people receive it. Because if you have zero knowledge of the original, that's good and bad in a sense.
Hmm.
But if you had some previous knowledge, it makes the entire game much better, and that's one of the reasons why it surpassed my expectations. Um, but I'll let Jalen talk about it a little first before we go too deep into it.
For sure, for sure. The Jay Boyd on the podcast was good. Nah, just fine. But yeah, Final Fantasy VII. I ain't a Square Enix fanboy, even though I bought Kingdom Hearts a couple of times. But that's besides the point. Um, I played a little bit of Final Fantasy VII. I don't know how far I was. I got to the part where we was on like, dang, what's that place called? It's like Costa something. It's basically like you on a beach or something like that. I don't know how linear the game is or what that really means, but I remember being at the Gold Saucer and like the little beach or whatever. So it's a couple years back. Um, but overall, like Josh said, I think that is like, important with like your decision making on determine how good the game is and things like that. I think Final Fantasy VII overall, the remake was pretty good. Definitely exceeded my expectations. It's not a perfect game or anything by any means, but I really enjoyed the world building that they put in place. Because people just love the world of Final Fantasy VII, so it kind of gave you an opportunity to submerge yourself in 4K, or I don't know what it supports or whatever. At least 1080p, it supports that, so you can see it in 1080p versus seeing them little polygons, them JPEGs, them what they call them things on PlayStation, like the little pre-rendered graphics stuff or
I
whatever.
don't know, spirits,
Um,
FSBs.
sprints. I don't know.
Sprites, yeah, they pre-render anyway. But I really appreciated that. I think it was real nice to have your characters talk and interact with each other. Because I mean, people love to cast on Final Fantasy VII, and people always call Cloud like emo and stuff, but to actually see where he was in Final Fantasy VII, and compare how he was in like Advent Children and things like that. The little interaction I always like to see when he interacted with. I think it was Wedge. It was always, it's pretty smooth. It's probably definitely one of the best games I played over the course of the year. And I plan on playing through it again. So
All right, so y'all done heard from the Square Enix fanboys because they do tend to buy everything Square Enix. This is an individual
not
Mike.
fanboy.
Nah, it's fanboys. That's what I call it. This is I myself do not tend to buy everything Square Enix, and I don't tend to enjoy all Final Fantasy renditions. I think they done played. Have I? Am I? Am I? Am I? Am I wrong in saying y'all probably played pretty much all of them except for like the older PlayStation One versions? You probably played anything that came out that had the Final Fantasy name in it since the
I,
360, right?
No.
I
What?
mean, It's a lot
No,
of them, but I
Which
would say
ones you
I've
haven't
played.
played? Which ones y'all haven't though? Like,
I ain't touched Crystal Chronicles or whatever that garbage called on. I ain't played Bravely Default. I ain't played World of Final
no, I'm
Fantasy.
not saying Square Enix. I said Final Fantasy. I'm not saying like games that have like
No,
similar.
they Final Fantasy. Final Fantasy, Crystal
Well, he
Chronicles,
talking about
World of Final Fantasy.
the numbered games.
You
Oh,
said
the
Um,
Bravely
number one.
Default. Is Bravely Default a Final Fantasy game?
Yeah.
it's by Square Enix, and it's the same style of game, but
That
it's
don't.
not.
I'm not saying that's
Final.
not Final Fantasy. I'm talking about
Man, I
was
could have
literally
sworn that Final
named
Fantasy.
Final Fantasy game. Bravely Default is not a Final Fantasy game. That's just a Square Enix game, and that's similar to Final Fantasy. But any game y'all done played, I'm pretty sure most of them over the last, because I know y'all played the Zero type, whatever that was. I was hyped about that one. Probably some
Of the main
garbage, but
games.
I ain't play it because I can't speak on it. I know y'all played Final Fantasy 15 pure trash. I know y'all played. It was. I mean, I'm pretty sure y'all done play most of them. So, am I right or wrong in saying y'all played a lot of Final Fantasy?
So
Yeah, I
I
definitely
haven't.
played the number.
Okay.
Yeah, I haven't played all of them, but I would say, like most people that are interested in Final Fantasy, they're familiar with all the games after 7. Even if you didn't finish every game, you at least like know what it is and like can recognize the characters or what it's about.
So you admit that you're biased when it comes to Final Fantasy. You kind of enjoy those said
Well,
games.
yeah, I would admit that I'm the target market for what they're trying to present with
All
Final
right.
Fantasy 7. And I
Well,
think that's is one of the reasons why they stepped up their game for this particular Final Fantasy.
all right, cool. So I played the demo free. Um, and what I can say I enjoyed about that game, coming from someone that don't really play them all and don't really get the most of the appeal. I enjoy RPGs, and this isn't our, in my opinion, it seems like more of a action RPG versus just a standard, regular RPG. So I do see the switch up there. I didn't really think that the action was gravitating enough of a change to make me want to pay for only about, I don't know if they consider it 25% of the game, but it felt like if you're not leaving the main area and that's not even that big focal point and they kind of build it out, I would think that they're probably going to have three more renditions of this game, or at least three more parts. So why would I pay $60 for 25% of the game? Even though if they did a lot, and I'm not going to take that away from them. I'm not saying that they did not do a lot to that game, because obviously it's a remake, not a remaster, not just packaged well like they did most of the Kingdom Hearts stuff over and over. It's more so they actually took the time to do something different. But coming from my standpoint of simply understanding that I'm a consumer and I would like to actually, when I buy a game, I want to be able to play it from start to finish and have the whole story, and I'm not getting that. That doesn't make me feel good, and especially when the story is out there and they're kind of using that source material to make this game good, because they're not going to deviate much, because if they do, it's going to cause a lot of backlash, because people want to play that same similar style, even though they will accept a battle system change, they accept adding additional characters. But if that core isn't there and it isn't the same as it was when they first played it, they're probably going to get people upset. So I'm not getting a new game. In my opinion, it's a remake of a game. So if I'm paying $60 for that remake, I don't feel like that's justified enough for me if I get 40 hours of the game, because most of the RPGs, in my opinion, usually will last about 80, 90 hours. So this game, at least when I'm looking at, how long to beat, about 40 hours, or 35 to 40 hours. So I'm playing, that may give me about 45% of the game, maybe. I'm not sure, but I don't want to pay that much. I don't want to invest that much, because I know down the line they're going to come out, Square Enix, just like they did with all the Kingdom Hearts. They're going to come out with a package that says you can play 1, 2, 3, 4, all parts, $60. I'm like, sure, I'll pay at that point. Or if I can get a deep sale, I pay that price. If I can get each copy for 15, that's $60 altogether. So I will play at 15, but I won't pay at 60 per episode. And that was my whole point. and that's coming from someone that does not have a. I wouldn't say y'all have a bias, but I think y'all do enjoy those games, and y'all are invested enough to actually pay that price. But I'm not invested enough in those games or that company to say, oh yeah, I just give them that. I'd rather have a a a a reasonable entry for price point. That's all.
So let me ask you this: if so, I know previously, like we kind of talked about, like I know Josh's philosophy is if I play a game, I forgot how he did the math, X amount of hours. This is just taking just like not taking in like the intricacies, but just taking like if a game is 20 hours long, then it should be $40. If a game is 30 hours long, it should be 60, blah, blah, blah. So you saying a game not 40 hours long, they put a lot of work into it and you can't justify paying $60 because you're not getting a full story. So with that being said, so what if a game, let's just say Kingdom Hearts, since we Square Enix fanboys, right? Kingdom Hearts like to leave you off on a cliffhanger. So because you're left off on a cliffhanger, you're not getting a full story, right?
True, but you're
so.
Okay, go ahead. Yeah, I get your point. Go ahead, continue.
So okay, yeah, I mean you get my point. If you keep getting cliffhangers, which Halo keep doing,
but that's
like what's
the difference is the foundation is out there on the internet. I can literally go back and play Final Fantasy VII if I wanted to on the PlayStation 1 and play that full game through with everything that happened. So that's the difference. That's
true. But I feel like because we played it, that it's what they did is a little bit different. So whenever somebody makes a remake, like let's say in 10 years they're gonna remake Uncharted 1 or Uncharted 2, like update the graphics and things like that, but generally they're not going to change the story because, like you said, people want to play that original experience just polished up. But one of the reasons why this game is getting so much praise is because they didn't do just that, and they took an approach where we know the original story is out there, and we know people know this story. So yeah, we can add like more gameplay, but we can add more story, and we can change the story to the way that we want. So if there's like a event that's supposed to happen in the original, we can change that event so that it happens differently, or that event won't happen at all. And what happens when somebody who's supposed to die doesn't die, or what happens if, for example, like if we're watching the Avengers movies and they remake the Avengers movies in the future, like what if Thanos shows up in Iron Man 1 to fight Iron Man? Like that would change the whole story because that's not supposed to happen. And so with this game, they can approach it to a way that actually, even though we've played the original, I don't know what's going to happen in the part 2 of this remake, because what they've done is show that we are willing to change the story to tell a new story. And if you know the old story, that makes it more interesting because now you're waiting to see what is actually going to change. Is this person going to still be alive? Is this person still going to die? Like, because they're willing to change it.
And so you're saying that they will break the characters. They will literally make somebody that didn't die prevalently in the first one, a main character that people enjoyed and loved, they'll make somebody die. Has anybody died yet that was like prevalent in the story throughout the game? Or how does that been set up? Because I don't believe that's true. I think that they're not going to do that, because if they do that, it's going to cause backlash. They don't want.
So
a remake is a remake.
Anything about the game now, like obviously, like you look at IGN reviews and things like that, they say it's good. But let's say you go to Reddit, Final Fantasy VII Reddit, and read about it, you will see probably thousands of threads of people complaining that the story is changed, because I've seen people who've been talking about their whole career they love Final Fantasy VII, and those people are the first ones to say they hate the remake because things have changed. And so, and I don't know if I want to spoil it because people might not have played Final Fantasy VII, but there's one very, very important main character in Final Fantasy VII that dies. And so far, they have presented in a situation that maybe we might decide this person does not die.
Mm-hmm.
And if that doesn't happen, then they can't basically save the world, because them dying puts in motion the things that are necessary to save the world. So what's going to happen is somebody else going to take their place if they die, because they've shown that they're willing to change a main story point in order to make something else happen.
Mm-hmm.
And then they're also going to the point where characters that are supposed to be dead at the beginning of Final Fantasy VII are not. And it presents a situation that, well, if this person is there, for example, Naruto, like, what if the fourth Hokage did not die? Well, now you got Naruto and the fourth Hokage in the same world. Like, how is that going to happen? Like, isn't that too powerful?
Well, if they actually break something, Josh, I pay attention. You saying that they already have, but
without spoiling anything, I would say that they have changed enough significantly to show that they're willing to change the story. And the reason is because Final Fantasy VII came out in the 90s. And then after that, there have been like 4 or 5 side stories, like a movie, like a couple PSP games, PS2 games that all continue the story after Final Fantasy VII. And those things, since they took place after, they shouldn't matter to the original. But now those things, they're present in the remake. Like, they're adding the things that are changing the story because the story has continued. And so that's why I would say it is worth it to see as a new story. I don't feel like they're offering me less than what they should. They're offering a new experience that makes it feel worth it, on top of the good voice acting, on top of the good writing, on top of the good gameplay.
Okay. Still, I get what you're saying, but I feel like I get your point, and if they actually are doing what you're saying they're doing, that makes more sense to me. But I feel like, again, because it's entitled a remake, it kind of makes me feel like they're remaking some of the same similar things, but it's kind of like you can play on a little bit of things, but it's not much you can play on that would make me want to play this game, that would make me feel like the original version was inferior. I don't see that happening. So if I don't feel my entry level has been achieved yet. That's all. So once my entry level is achieved, I don't think it's a bad game. I just don't think my entry level has been obtained yet, or even has been met. So once that entry level is met, I'll play it. I just don't want to play something that I know is already out there and have to wait for something else, the next thing to happen. But if you're saying that it's enough change, that makes me know that even if I was to get in at that $15 mark, I would be okay with paying that $15 mark. So either way, I'm not going to pay $60 per game, period. But I will decision myself on saying, okay, maybe at $20 per game, I would actually play it versus $15. Because
I understand the price thing, because it is expensive if they're gonna have 3-4 games. Like,
it's 4 games, bro. I'm pretty sure it's 4 games. I guarantee you. So hot take real quick. How many games do y'all think it's actually going to be before the game is over with?
Man, they said they don't know.
That's what I'm saying. They said they don't even know. So what do y'all take on that? What do you take from them saying, I don't even know when it's going to wrap?
I
I mean, as long as
personally,
it's worth it. Yeah, go ahead.
yeah, I mean, like Josh said, as long as it's worth it. If I'm getting the same enjoyment out of what I'm getting, um, with the remake that I'm getting right now, uh, I'm fine with doing that. I mean, I ain't buying just cause, am I? I mean,
But listen,
I ain't buying. I ain't.
that's
I
different.
mean, it is,
Man,
but like
them fart
you can
noises.
see how much you can see how much work minus them JPEGs that they had in the background. You can see how much work they was putting in the game, and it's like the game is honestly, Square Enix be on trash. Like I ain't gonna lie, I don't like them jokers like that. They be on some trash. You know, they got to put every Final Fantasy game on every platform. You know what I'm saying?
Oh my
But
God, this now you want to stand up because we
I
definitely was
don't
buying
condone
all
to that.
Kingdom Hearts. You
Okay,
bought them
I'm
on
Kingdom Hearts.
PS3, PS2, PS4. I was like, when you gonna stop? And like, never. Not until then you bought the Kingdom Hearts 3. Then you bought the Kingdom Hearts 3 DLC. And even though Kingdom Hearts 3 was, I don't know. I'm
Man,
just
it's a
saying,
story, so
it's
I had to
a
cop it.
Square Enix
But
has a foundation of remastering a remaster until it can't be remastered no more and putting it out again and again and again and again. So if they tell you, I don't even know how many times we gonna gank y'all, I'm not finna sign up for it willingly. I don't even look, bro. We don't even know how many times we finna do this. We don't like just like Kingdom Hearts when they did all those things and they kept doing 1.5 and prologue and all this other it didn't matter honestly and they repackaged it and made y'all want to buy it again because they added a special scene on the end. That's what I'm feeling from Final Fantasy 7 because they did overhaul the system, but they can't even tell us when they're gonna finish it, and that makes me feel like I'm going to invest in something that never going to see completion in my time life, and I'm going to have to invest like I did, like y'all did in Kingdom Hearts or something like that, where it's just pointless and pointless and pointless, and then the payoff is trash. That's what I'm trying to avoid. And if I can get to that
Yeah.
entry level point of my $15, now that y'all said it might change a lot, $20, I'm okay with that.
I mean, like, but the thing you is so. I feel like you looking at the overall story, the 0 to 100% complete story or whatever. Um, so and the fact that it has remake on it, I feel like those two factors are captivating you, and
Mm-hmm.
that's like saying, well, I ain't gonna buy it because I know it's a remake. It's gonna do the Kingdom Hearts thing, blah blah blah. Which it might to some degree, but the fact of it is, it's kind of, I guess the best way to relate it is it's like when you have a movie and you have a book. A book follows this script, but they hit certain key points. They might only hit 5 key points in a 10-hour movie or whatever. That you know what I'm saying? They might only hit 5 of those key points. Final Fantasy VII hits those key points, but like Josh said, they might hit them differently, or they might just hit them verbatim. But the outcome of those key points and the things in between is what makes the game worthwhile. So, with that being said, when you have a story, what's generally important about a story? You usually got the setting, you usually got the characters, um, you got like I guess world building would go under like the setting. I'm not like a book person or nothing like that, so I couldn't tell you all the specifics and stuff. But generally, when you look at story and stuff, you look at the plot, you look at the characters, and you look at the setting and stuff like that, and then some of the ambitions behind the characters. So, you might say Naruto is trash because this dude wanted to be a Hokage when the world, you know what I'm saying? You might just say something crazy. But anywho, the characters is what makes the game like something that you really want to invest in because this is the first time you can see these characters interact with each other. You can see them in Advent Children stuff, but this is post Final Fantasy VII. The amount of Final Fantasy VII content is probably like the biggest Square Enix has. Like, you know, you got the Dirge Service, you got Before Crisis, you got Crisis Core, you got Advent Children. Like, you got all these different aspects of Final Fantasy. They meld in some of those things into the game. You got different characters. Like, I ain't gonna spoil the game, but it was one dude, he wasn't even in Final Fantasy VII, but you go talk to him and then you talk about his story and stuff like that relating to a key character in the game and stuff. You looking like, oh, okay, yeah, I want to help this dude out. Like, this dude actually like he pretty cool. Like, you know what I'm saying? Even though he a Riku replica, but I mean that's cool too. Like, I mean, so like those sorts of things like critically impacts the story. And like I said, the characters and the interactions make the story good. If you had Naruto and you ain't see how Naruto interact with those characters. If you just ain't interact with them at all, you be like, okay, this show whack. But you see how those people interact with Naruto, how they warm up with to Naruto. Um, you see like Dragon Ball, how they warm up to Goku, how they want to be on Goku team and help Goku out when he's in need. Like those sorts of things, like that's what makes the story worthwhile. And when you see those character interactions, even though we got the setting that's pretty much the same, we ain't got them pre-rendered scenes and stuff like, you know, you gotta see that little weird texture on the PlayStation graphics or whatever, but we can actually visualize that. We can take in what Midgard actually is. We can see the people that's, you know, suffering out there. We can I mean, shoot, you like The Last of Us? That they said the most beautiful scene in that game is when you see some doggone giraffes in there, bro. I'm looking like, bro, some giraffes. Like in the midst of the chaos, you see some giraffes. The setting is what made the giraffes significant. So the setting in Final Fantasy VII is what made those interactions like significant. Like, you get what I'm saying? Like all that is like critical.
Yeah, that's true. But it's not that. I get what you're saying.
So the story not the same. Like when I remember Final Fantasy VII and when I'm playing Final Fantasy VII Remake, I think they put Remake to put a spin on it because they remaking it, but they like doing things differently.
The remake
like,
part, a lot of people speculated, and they're right. It's a lie, and it's kind of like on purpose because they were saying that maybe it might be called Final Fantasy VII Reunion, which has a significant part to the story. But remake is not.
That game ain't no remake.
Not a remake. And so like, the second part, they're probably not going to call it Final Fantasy VII Remake Part 2 because that wouldn't make sense because it's not really a remake.
Wow.
They didn't change too much stuff in that game for like literally when I'm like I said, when I'm playing that game, I'm trying to reflect on key points in the game and stuff like that. And I'm like, hey, I don't remember this past 3 hours. I don't remember anything about this past 3 hours in the original game. Like I have to keep trying to draw points where I'll be like, okay, I remember that now. Okay, I remember that character. He was there. Or I'll constantly have to reflect. And it's like I said, it's very, very loose adaptation of what Final Fantasy VII was. And if people want to play Final Fantasy VII, y'all got Final Fantasy VII on every single system now because that's what Square Enix do. But if you want to play the remake,
we gotta wait a year for Xbox.
No, I mean wait, they don't got Final Fantasy VII on
the
Xbox
original
yet? Is the original?
It might be on Xbox.
The original? I'm not sure. I know the 7. I know Remake ain't yet. They come out next year, right? Like a year from now.
I don't know. They just people who just don't want change, and without change, I mean, you stagnant. So, I mean, bump them. I don't mean to sound mean, but it's just something that you got to go against the grain at some point. That's how change happens.
Man. Yeah. So
I would say that.
Oh, go ahead.
Let's address the Kingdom Hearts thing. Like, you play Kingdom Hearts, you've seen how they wrote that story and how they handled the big project over like 10 years. And that wasn't handled well because they start out with an idea and they don't finish it, or they take forever to finish it and it's not worth it or whatever. So that point is valid. Like, we don't know when the next game coming out. We don't know what the quality is going to look like. And we don't know how long they're going to drag this out. So maybe it's going to be 5 years, maybe it's going to be 10 years before the whole thing is out. What I would say is, for someone like you who hasn't played it yet, and that from what I play, I think this is a good time to play the first game, and it's okay to wait the 2-3 years for the next game, because that's going to make it more interesting because you don't know what's happening next. And in that time, you can do your research or homework, whatever, to learn and have an idea and see how that's different. But like Jalen said, with the quality of this first part, I'm personally okay with spending the full price and waiting the 2-3 years for the next game and then spending another full price to get it. Because unlike Final Fantasy 15, unlike Kingdom Hearts, the quality is in every single part of the game. So the graphics looks good. Obviously, on like PS4 and Xbox, like it has issues with like loading textures and stuff like that. I think that's just like a limitation of the generation. So maybe next generation is gonna look a lot better.
Is
But
it on the
otherwise,
Xbox already? I thought it
oh
was
no
only
no,
on.
it's not on Xbox. My bad.
Okay.
I think that's just like a limitation of the PS4. To make sure that it runs at a smooth frame rate because it doesn't have any frame rate issues.
Mhm.
But I think on PS5 that's not gonna be a problem. But otherwise, the graphics look really good. The characters look really good. The gameplay is fun. Like there's no too many bad glitches or anything. The combat is fun and creative and is different than what anybody else has done for a while. And most importantly, like Jalen said, the characters, the level of writing and voice acting and the actual acting of the characters is, I would say, of high quality as something like The Last of Us. Whereas Final Fantasy 15, it was never like that. Like the characters look nice and they talk and stuff, but it doesn't always feel natural, and there's no real emotion behind it. So if it's a sad scene, it's not really doesn't come across for everybody because of how the quality of it. And just like Kingdom Hearts, it's even less for someone like you who's not very invested in the characters, them being emotional or things like that. The quality of the animations or the voice acting or whatever maybe not didn't get to you. But with this, they actually took the time to direct it in such a way that characters are of a high quality of a AAA game that you would see from Sony, that it's worth it to see these interactions because you don't get that from uh, any other Square Enix game. And so if they can keep that same quality, then I would say, yeah, it's worth it to wait the 2 years to see the next part. Just like, God of War 2 coming out in some point in the future, or Horizon Zero Dawn 2, if they can keep the same quality, you're okay to wait for the sequel because what they presented for this first part is worth it.
All right, we'll see. I I am definitely hoping for the best, but Square Enix is Port City. I'm gonna stop because y'all they're gonna think I hate Square Enix, but I don't because I play all Tomb Raiders. But I just when I see what they do when it comes to their quote unquote action RPGs or their popular games, it shows to me that they have this thing of we're going to get the remake definitive edition when the PS5 come out, and we're going to get something with additional content before the next series drops or next one drops, and then you're going to get the same treatment the next time around because that's what they do. It doesn't seem as if their pattern has been broken. They don't do that on their games that are made by different parties, but when it comes to Square Enix and their popular games, they kind of do this where they milk it for what it is, and they continuously cause you to want to know more, and they know they have that market, and then they do the same tactic that they have done for years, and they gouge. So that's my concern. That's why I'm waiting for my entry point, and once that entry point, I'd be glad to revisit Final Fantasy. But we've talked about this for 35 minutes now, so moving on to our next topic. And any closing remarks for the Final Fantasy Square Enix debate before we move on?
Final Fantasy 7 Remake Game of the Year.
I do got a quick summary because for you haven't played it, so I would say for anybody who hasn't played it, it's a really good game on its own, and I feel like it doesn't end on like too much of a cliffhanger. Like what they start in a game, they end. So I feel like it's a good point to start if you're interested. Now, if you don't like it or you're not interested to continue to the next game, that's straight. I think it's a really good game, and it's right now my second favorite Final Fantasy story that they have right now.
What's your first?
14.
Oh, the MMO. Yeah, you're right there. That one just that wins off because of mass, the size.
Yeah, it's not fair because it's like 10 years of content, but
Yeah.
done really well. So
Yeah. All right. So next topic, we wanted to talk about the Xbox Series X versus PS5. Some quick questions, but really just some what we pros and cons between the two, and what we think will be a positive thing moving forward when it comes to these systems. So because this is something that I really focus on heavily, I probably just started off here, but what I see when it comes to the Xbox Series X and the PlayStation 5 are two different opposing views. I see Xbox wanting to become a more consumer friendly and for the people kind of product, like a PC. And I see Sony wanting to keep the traditional games. You only can get this here, so buy our system, and you only can get this here, so buy our system kind of feel. Not saying either one is wrong. I'm just saying they're opposing views, and what their pros are, and what I see are for those opposing views. That's why they are winning in some areas and winning in some and not. It's their opposing views that's what's driving them to be so different, and what's driving them to have these pros and then having these cons. So when I look at just starting off with the Xbox, because that's pretty much the only one that's been talking as of now. Some stuff coming around for the PlayStation 5, but right now we really have a lot on the Xbox Series X. Something about their quick resume, SSDs, being able to expand your storage, new features like the so they're doing, like, I believe 120 frames per second up to support 4K for older video games, and they're baking in HDR support for this stuff just off the grip. It's kind of like, you don't have to pay for this. We're going to do it anyway. They have their Play Anywhere systems. That's where you can buy it on the Xbox One and get the patch for the Xbox Series X. They have all of these kind of nuances that you can obviously see that they want you to feel as if you're secure when you buy into the system. You're secure when you buy into Microsoft. You don't have to worry about your stuff not working. You don't have to worry about the next upgrade, because really you are set if you don't even want to upgrade for another 2 years. Versus PlayStation has made it very clear that if you don't get that PS5, you ain't playing, whatever exclusive you want to try, it ain't happening. So you have to buy the PlayStation 5 in order to get those new experiences. And I mean, low key, they have earned it. They have earned it by what they have put out, what they have shown us, what they have done this generation with their games, their quality. They have earned the right to do that, in my opinion, even though it ain't right. They have earned that right. Xbox, on the other hand, has not. They have to play up to us because they do not have the games to support their system. They don't have the software. They're getting there, but right now they are not there. So that is their pro and con. That's just one of them. And I open it up to my constituents, or if I said that word right, to kind of put in their opinion there on what the differences is there.
Hey Josh, you hear that? That means if you want to play Uncharted 5, you need to get you a PS5.
Yeah, that's pretty much what it says.
Man, I'll take my chance with an emulator, not just one. That's piracy. I don't condone that.
None of us condone that. Just to be clear.
I mean, if you want to go and say your piece, because I know that. Well, I guess you can also talk about what they would have to do to get your attention, because right now, like, you play PlayStation, right, and you don't really play on Xbox, and that's for a reason. Do you think that would change with what you've heard so far, or what do you feel?
And that's more towards you, Jalen.
Um, I'm trying to think. I guess for me, the I don't know, man. Like I care about exclusives to some degree. I feel like you got like I think we kind of touched on this previously. Um, you got the AAA exclusives like the Naughty Dogs, the um I don't know who made God of War, is it like Santa Monica or something like that.
Yeah,
Right.
Santa Monica.
You got them. You got the people. You know what I'm saying? It was Sucker Punch at a point in time, but
They still
you
out
got
there and they're
those
doing
games.
Ghost of Tsushima.
Okay, yeah, I was thinking of Sucker Punch with what's that game called? Horizon Zero? No, not Horizon. The
Infamous.
Sunset Overdrive, but that's Insomniac. But anywho, so I feel like you got the ones that's dedicated, like they're owned by Sony, and then you got like the little like second tier ones that can deviate. So like but they have some associated like loyalty per se, for lack of better words, like the Square Enixes or
They choosing sides now.
the Atlas. You know what I'm saying? They generally tend to be on PlayStation or those sorts of things. So for me, I don't really care too much about the first party games, only because I feel like I played them to some degree. So like previously, I had the Halos, I had the Gears, those sorts of things. But so when the Xbox One's like, hey, we got Gears 32 coming out, you like, okay, well, I already didn't shot this. I already used this Nasher 30 times or 31 times. I don't want to use it a 32nd time, so I'm gonna play something else. So with that being said, I played all the Uncharted on the PS3. I did play Uncharted 4. I love the Uncharted series and things like that, but I'm pretty strict on my time and stuff like that. So if I'm a exasperate some of my time, I want to use it for something that I don't know the rhythm to, or something that I can kind of wrap my head around. Because when I play the game, I want to be on a different realm kind. I want to be able to submerge myself in the story and not just shoot a bunch of ads because the game had to find a reason for me to shoot them or whatever. So to answer your question though, it depends on what Xbox going to do and what PlayStation going to do, and then the game's coming out. I'm gonna tell you right now, if they got Final Fantasy Remake Part 2 Union XD Collection, I'm getting it. Like, it's simple as that, bro. Like, I'm getting it.
Square Enix boys, they can never hide. They can't hide their true selves, man.
But if they gonna drop Persona 6 or something on there, I might have to get it. So I'm kind of more so concerned about the not so AAA titles, but the ones that's like exclusive still. And then the biggest thing, aside from that, is the price point. I got the 360 because I could get the arcade version, $200, whereas they want $500 for a doggone PS3 or paperweight or whatever you want to call it. But yeah, so I don't really care too much about specs, because we learned from history that you can have all the good specs, but if people can't code for it or you can't fully utilize the specs or whatever, it don't matter. So I think the biggest thing is the price point, and then those secondary, for lack of better words, exclusives that's gonna come out for the said console, which kind of gonna influence my decision.
Okay, so are you more for? Are you more for the cause of someone or company that is trying to actively push the envelope on what the consumer wants and what we can provide them, or are you more so for someone that is going to provide you a better gaming experience?
Well, if I cut on my PlayStation or Xbox, I want for the gaming experience. I don't need the
consumer
experience. The consumer experience. I mean, I know the Xbox tried to sell that before, which was cool, but I didn't care about that because I had, different devices that could do those sorts of things with a better user interface. We all love the Xbox One interface, right? Or what it was before.
But what it was before was terrible. Now it's okay. But before, with the Snap stuff, I was like, bro, y'all really need to fix this. Now just to get y'all a background of us, I myself play everything. I have a PC, Xbox, PlayStation 4, Nintendo Switch, Wii U. I pretty much have a lot of different, things, and both Jalen and Josh has that as well. I am more active, but Josh probably is equally as active as I am when it comes to gaming. He has an Xbox, PlayStation 4. Nintendo Switch. Probably played all of the Nintendo stuff, but more than I have. So he's Nintendo man. I'll call myself Microsoft man, and then Jalen is just it's Square Enix man. I was he plays he cheap man, but he plays when he wants to play. So he has had an Xbox in the past, Xbox One, Xbox 360, of course, all of those generations, and he has a Switch and he has a PS4 as of now. So just to give you a background on kind of what we play and how we play.
Yeah. So, like, I understand what you're saying, Jalen, and I kind of feel the same way. My bad. Obviously, eventually we're all going to play both systems at some point. Like, there might be enough games.
First day for me.
That we both want it. Yeah. For me, what I'm trying to figure out is which one do I want to get first. You know, maybe I can buy them both day one, but realistically, I don't need them both day one. So it would be better off to find which one I really want first, play it all the time, and then when I'm done, go to the other one. And for PlayStation, there are always going to be those exclusive games that are high quality and, you know, you can't obviously get anywhere else, and that is their biggest draw, and that's what's been working. So if there's something like, you know, another Dark Souls game or Bloodborne or even like Persona 6 that they're able to get exclusive, that's a good way to get people to get into their system. But for me, throughout the years, I've noticed that I don't really see Sony doing anything beyond that to really compete as far as their device or the system quality or things like that. And Xbox has been doing a lot over the past few years to make that better. So I didn't have an Xbox for the longest time because I wasn't interested. But Microsoft has done a good job to get me interested in what they have. Number one, like Game Pass. Like, I know there's PlayStation Now, but it's still not the same quality as Game Pass.
Garbage.
$15 a month, and you can play, you know, their whole catalog of games. But what got me interested is brand new games that are coming out day one, or they've only been out for a month that are showing up on Game Pass. And so that has honestly been a really good way for me to play games that I've been interested in, but just didn't have the money for at the time, or didn't have the time to play it, you know, right around Christmas. So maybe I'll wait a couple months. Oh, and now it's out on Game Pass. Like Streets of Rage 4, which is not quite an indie game, but a smaller game, 2D beat 'em up, came out recently. And, you know, I can buy it on PlayStation for like $15, $20, or I can just play it on Game Pass because it's on Game Pass. So that creates a situation where it's smarter for me to spend my money elsewhere than over on PlayStation.
Exactly.
So day one, you know, let's say they both come out on the same day or they both come out around Christmas. If Xbox is offering a system that I can play games that I'm familiar with, that I owned in the past, that at a better quality, and they have, you know, their, you know, the brand new Assassin's Creed, brand new Call of Duty, and maybe hopefully they have a game of their own that will interest me. Like, you know, obviously Halo's been around forever. Some people are tired of it, but if they can have those high quality games, it might be the system I would go to day one. But really, that because of what they're offering in the ecosystem, that my money is going to be well spent, and I won't have to worry about all these you know, asterisks. There's like, oh, you can play this game, but it's not going to be upgraded, or you can do this, but you know, that I don't have to worry about that. Like, they've promised a upgrade, and it's a clear upgrade for everything. Whereas the PS5, the reason I would get it, is because I want those exclusive games. But personally, I'm not going to spend $400, $500, $600 on a PS5 if it's only one nice game that I'm interested in. You know, I really want there to be a couple of those games that I'm interested in that I need to play, like Final Fantasy VII Remake 2, and Kingdom Hearts 4, those things that I want to see and I can't get anywhere else. But those take time, and so I know that. Well, I personally feel like they can't have all of that ready day one, and if they do, what about the next year or two? Is there going to be a drought? So
viewers peep the 2 Square Enix games that were mentioned as driver points. Just more, just to make sure you guys are aware of what I'm dealing with when I say this Final Fantasy stuff. That's all. But yeah, that's exactly how I feel about it. I'm still going to get both because that's just me, and I've had both since they've been in inception. I pretty much bought both as soon as they came out on the Xbox One, upgraded to the Xbox One X, upgraded to the PS4 Pro. I really have literally been giving my money to them, and I don't see myself stopping. I like to play both sides of the fence because that's the best way to have a good time with these video games. Is honestly you have the capability of purchasing something when it comes out. They don't really have to sell me on that point anymore. It's more so just selling me on who's going to get more of my money versus who's going to get all of it. I guess it's that's the kind of deal it is. It's whose ecosystem am I going to buy into more? It kind of feels like Google and Apple at this point. It's not that I'm going to not buy into both, but just who's I'm going to buy into more. I have Apple and Google products now, so that's kind of that's where I'm at with it. They are going into an ecosystem type deal. I think Microsoft is ahead on that. They have, the Project Cloud stuff where you can play offline and you can play online and not be at your system. You make your Xbox One X a server. You can do so much with this system. It's ridiculous at this point. It doesn't just feel like a console. It feels like a PC as they what they're trying to get to the point of is it's a PC. Which makes sense to me. That makes most sense, most logical sense moving forward. If you want to keep your games in your backlog of everything you want to play and not have to worry about, which, Japanese companies are famous for, Nintendo, Sony, they tend to want you to pay your old stuff. And if you don't want to pay, you can't use it. Honestly, they have a good market of that, and you can see that with the Switch. They're bringing all of the Wii U games over. But Xbox is really trying to break that, and that's what I respect most about them, even if their games are crap most of the time. I respect the fact that they take the initiative to try to make some change when it comes to the gaming industry. And they got enough money to do it. They don't have to worry about a budget, really, as Microsoft. It's just the fact that how can you now take that momentum and turn it even further and make it better for yourself and actually make games that are good. I'm not saying that all their games suck, but I'm saying most of them do, and I'm ready to debate anybody that tell me otherwise because I've played most of them. I played most of them, and most of the time, actually, I played all of them, and most of the time, I'm left unfulfilled and disappointed, really. So, I'm not going to go into that because it's just, I'm not going to go into any of that because it's a moot point at this point. I do respect them for what they're doing, and I'm really just looking forward to a lot of the decision making that's happening over there, and what the price point is going to be, and just that the new innovations they're going to create, because that's pretty much what they are. They're pretty innovative for a company that just started off. They're the newest in the game. They're Nintendo and Sony definitely had were out before them. So I get that they're still in the bottom right now, but I don't feel like they were losing with the 360. And as long as they keep moving forward with the initiative of customer first, I don't think they're going to lose with the Xbox Series X. Now, when they when you actually show off your Xbox Series X, don't show off Yakuza. Don't show off shit that stuff nobody cares about, because it causes a rift in what your message is. Nobody thinking about not these fire exclusives that you talked about in Halo Infinite. They're talking about how it doesn't look any better, how it's not as innovative. I would put more focus on showing games that side by side of what the differences is going to be, just like you did with the PC versus the Gears 5 on the Xbox. You showed the differences on what it's going to be and what you can actually do. Do the same thing with the games you currently have, and then show off new games that you're coming from your first party that's going to push your machine versus Yakuza. I don't understand how that even made the cut. I don't understand how half those games made the cut to be shown as new entry game. This is like the first viewing of your gameplay of Xbox Series X, and y'all start off with Yakuza and stuff like that. It just doesn't make any sense to me. So if you don't
Which one is
fumble,
they even on?
man, who knows?
Yakuza 7, it already was out on PS4, and so they're showing that they have it, but it's not it's pretty much a port at that point. So
why show it?
Points for it.
You don't get zero points from me for that. You get 0 points.
They showing you they got Sega games.
Man, I guess, but I'm saying I need a Last of Us or a Ghost of Tsushima. I need something that's gonna show me that y'all are you're looking at the right things and you're making the right points. Y'all are smart enough to understand that is the most important thing. That's why you're losing now. You're smart enough to see it. You know that Nintendo is killing it with the most basic of the basic customer service experience I ever seen in a company. They're killing it because they put out games people actually want to play. They're not even graphically
real customer service. Okay.
I'm talking about actual. They don't even know how to let you back up your own games. They don't even understand the fact that party chat is important. They have no idea what they're doing over there, but yet they're still winning. Tell me why.
About their back office, man.
Their games are good. People actually want to play them, and they enjoy it. That's why those Switches are flying off the shelves and people are going Animal Crossing crazy, because people want to actually play their games. So until Xbox really gets that through their head, they'll never beat PlayStation 5. And even if they are the best consumer-friendly company, they can never do it without the product that people are purchasing the system for, the games. So I have all the utmost confidence in this company. I've watched them plenty of times fail. They usually learn from it. Hopefully they do it this time. Now, any lasting remarks before we move into our last topic for today?
I was gonna say that right now, as we lead up to like the systems coming out, it's all about their kind of like marketing, but hopefully they already had more in place, because like they're talking about the system. But Xbox, like you said, they need to show these new amazing experiences that you can't get anywhere else and that you couldn't get previously on Xbox. So these new games like Halo Infinite looks amazing, and we got this exclusive that you didn't know about. But also showing that hopefully they can close the gap between them and Sony with exclusives, because if Xbox, not necessarily if they can get Persona 6 exclusive, but if they can get Persona 6 to come out at the same time, like that is progress, and that helps them keep consumers interested in their ecosystem instead of just getting forgotten, because Sony has 5 exclusives coming out and there's no reason to even think about your Xbox during this year because all of these exclusives.
Exactly. And they bought the studios, so they bought studios, they're reputable studios, they making good games. Hey, I hope that they are putting them to work. I'm obviously not doing the crunch stuff. Nobody supports that, but they're putting them to work. They're actually getting to results, and they're not just making more gears. Kind of over it. Anything?
They got Gears 10 coming up.
Yeah, I guess. So last topic for today, and this is just I was ragging on them a little bit in the last topic, but this is Nintendo and their successes and their failures as a company, as a brand, as just I don't know, as a video game company. What I could start off, but I'm gonna hold off because I don't want to sound like negative Nancy coming off of Xbox Series X, the topic. So, what do y'all kind of feel about Nintendo's successes? I'm gonna start off. I'm gonna say successes. Y'all talk about the failures. I want to hear from y'all actually.
Okay, I got one.
Mm-hmm.
Seeing how I'm Nintendo man, so
Indeed.
like you said, they have a lot of interesting games that I want to play, and right now they're doing good of having third-party games. They're not necessarily always the best price, and they're not always the best performance, but they now offer a good experience where you don't feel too left behind in a lot of situations. And obviously they don't have things at the same graphical quality as the other systems, but they have good experiences on their own.
Mm-hmm.
Because of that, I want to play games on my Switch because they're good games, and it's convenient. And I like this system even though it's lacking features.
Very powerful.
Yeah, lacking power too in some situations, but because of their approach to the system, it kind of limits their market as well, that they can't really capitalize on it. So for example, I have the normal Switch. I don't have the refresh with the bigger battery or the light, but I want to get the light kind of as like a secondary system, because I've seen it in person. Like, it's really a nice high quality device. It's better than I thought. And because of the smaller screen, even though the game's resolution is low, it looks a lot better on that screen than it does the TV or the original Switch. And it's pretty cheap. Like, you can get one for under $200. But because of how they've done their saves for certain games, it kind of has put me off, because I don't want to be in a situation where I want to play, the newest Zelda or whatever, but I can't reliably switch my save between two systems, or I have to worry about a game coming out that I can't play on both. So I want to be more in their ecosystem, but because of how they've set themselves up, it limits people who are even like the most hardcore like me. But beyond that, I think that their biggest point is, if you want to play, let's say example, I know you guys don't play the game, but like Fortnite. Like, you want to play Fortnite on your PS4 with your friends, whatever, and you got to leave. You go out with your family, or you go to a Thanksgiving party or something. You can still have that game to play. And so even though it's not your primary way, you don't really worry about the graphics too much, because that's a concession that you make because you still want to be able to enjoy the game. So Nintendo is unique in that sense, where they don't have to necessarily compete, but I think they still need to do, on the basic level, the same quality of life and consumer related things that these other systems and even phones do, because this is what people have come to expect, and it's going to make people more interested in your product if you do it correctly.
Now, and that's implementation of third parties games. Is that what we were going at, or what were you referring to?
Really, it's their implementation of features on the system.
Features, okay.
To make sure that everybody can do cloud saves, that you can, if you are doing cloud saves, that you can upload your save and download it quickly to another system if you want to do that, like to make sure that there shouldn't be any hindrances for you to play your game, because people
Anywhere, right? Anywhere,
get it for
everywhere.
portability. So let's remove these barriers that prevent them from having that experience.
Right.
And that's usually people's biggest complaint, is that Nintendo has good games, but they mess it up because they don't implement things correctly.
All right, what you got for a failure? Because Josh's was like a backhanded compliment. He's like, "Ooh, it's so mobile, and you can do all this, but they can't get the basics." I was like,
Well, you said
"Man,"
successes.
I said failures. I wanted y'all to give me failures. I wanted to give a success.
It is a failure.
I know the failure is that's why I'm trying to figure out your point. I was like, because you kind of was talking good. You was talking nice. I was like, man, he talking too nice.
Interview razzle
yeah,
dazzle
he
with
was
him.
talking
He
too
said,
nice.
You know, it ain't that good with the resolution, but because the resolution ain't that good, it's on a smaller screen, is actually better. Right?
I was like, you talking too nice. So give me a failure. I know Josh. Josh, I understand you gave me a failure. They basically not implementing what we were talking about, and successes and basic functionality that most other companies provide on the basic level that they can't do. Give me a failure from you, Jalen.
Man, I ain't going a million failures, bro.
Just give me one.
Hold
give
on.
me a good one.
Hold on, brainstorming. Let me have what Jimmy Neutron say, brain blast?
Brain blast.
No, but shoot. I'm trying to think, man. Nintendo be making me mad, bro. I like them, but they be making me mad. Shoot. I'm gonna just stop me if I go on a tangent. First off, so Nintendo, they the forerunners for, like, I ain't gonna say forerunners, but they, you know what I'm saying, they've been around for a long time with the game and stuff because of the way they wanted to act. We got PlayStation now, but I think one of the biggest things with Nintendo is they make things hard. Like when I play Nintendo, when I'm dealing with Nintendo, I gotta play like hard mode. So like my PlayStation and Xbox getting low key kind of hard too because of these constant updates and stuff. But with Nintendo, you want to just do something simple like, all right, yeah, I'm about to play this game. Oh yeah, well, you need your gamepad on to start the game, but I don't want to use the gamepad. It's dusty. I gotta keep charging it up. The battery lights up. Well, I don't know what to tell you. Or if you got a Wii, and this is just in the past, like you got a Wii, you want to turn your game on. My dog chewed up my sensor bar. How I'm supposed to play with it now? Like my dog legit ate my sensor bar, and I was just looking like, bro, I can't even play this doggone thing now. So, but fast forward, they have gotten a little bit better with it, giving you options to play the game, but they try to implement a new idea and force people to hop on board with it when some people just want to sit down on the couch and play the game. I've been playing Breath of the Wild. I was just playing it like 2 days ago, and I was getting pissed off because I was playing this level where I got to use the gyroscope and the controller, and I'm over here exercising my wrist to, you know what I'm saying, to turn the level or whatever, because that's what you just got to do. Or when I have the Switch in handheld mode, I'm over here, got my Switch up in the air because I don't know where the base of the, where things was at its most leveled point.
Yeah.
I don't know where it resets at, and, those sorts of things. So it makes me play it a certain way. It's better than the whole Wii situation and stuff like that. They've gotten better, but it's just like new ideas that's good, but they always got some type of backlash. Like, Wii Sports, I'm getting active, but how much battery these mugs eat? Because them mugs used to go through some batteries, man. And so I mean, just stuff like that. I mean, that's the biggest thing. And don't get me started on that back office, because when we was dealing with Jack Welch Chronicles, boy, Nintendo was, man, I'm just looking like, bro, what y'all mean the back office? Like, bro, like, what you talking about? The back office? They like, yeah, we got to talk to our back. I'm like, bro, who is this enigmatic man in the back office that's calling all the shots? That boy want to be a baller, shot caller, 20. Nah, but yeah, man, it was just, I mean, that's my biggest thing with Nintendo. Oh yeah, and they think all their games is premium quality. That is basura, garbage. That is terrible.
So
like,
before we keep going,
but yeah,
I just need to give y'all context on Jack Welch. Jack Welch was a scammer that sold us stolen DSs on eBay. And we had to deal with Nintendo bricking our consoles and us trying to get our money back from Nintendo because they were bought from Nintendo with stolen credit cards and provided to us for a cheaper price on eBay. So Jack Welch is a Decepticon, and he basically deceived us. And this is the fruits of his labor. He have scarred us for life. But
yeah,
continue.
Jack Welch, we have to eBay money back guarantee. We like, new 3DSs with the C stick on there for $200. Oh, we can get them for $130. eBay money back guarantee. I'm gonna get it. Next thing you know, them ship 2-day shipping. UPS, they coming from Seattle or whatever Nintendo is at. I'm looking like, bro, what? Next thing you know, you had a DS and that mug got bricked a little bit later. Like, hey, yeah, that's stolen, bro. Send it back. But they ain't want it back though. They like, no, keep it. But we a bargain with you. Hey, just pay us the money, and we'll let you keep it, bro. That's how thirsty Nintendo was.
No lies. He told us to keep it. They said, so how much you want to pay for it? I was like, $130.
I'm like, Nintendo bargaining out. What happened to their premium products? But yeah, man, Jack Welch Chronicles. Them were some good days, man. But oh yeah, premium products. I agree. They do put a lot of time and work in their games and stuff, and usually their games do come out premium. But when y'all want to make games and sell them full price or manipulate the market by putting, let's say Pokemon Ruby come out, you only put out 10,000 copies. So therefore, when all the new copies is going, the price increases. I don't necessarily agree with that. And that's why Nintendo has so much issue with piracy because of how they want to sell their games. Like, it ain't no reason in the world New Super Mario Bros. Is still $35 on a DS in 2010 when that game came out in 2004. That's absolute BS. But yeah, so I mean that's pretty much it with that. And then they got Josh's favorite game. I'm about to look that game up. It's Metroid on 3DS. Hold on, Metroid 3DS. What's that game called? Yeah, Federation favorite game, y'all. Let it. And so that's a premium product too, apparently. But
your mic is
it's like
going in and out
a little bit.
My bad. But yeah, that's a premium product. Federation Force is just like I mean, Samus Returns and all that other stuff. Premium products, bro.
Well, now, yes, obviously we all know Nintendo gouges, but I mean, they gouge because they have the. I'm gonna go ahead and go into successes. They gouge because they have the character log, they have the backlog, they have the games we grew up on. They have that nostalgia effect on a lot of things. So they know what they created, they know what they built, and they're definitely taking advantage. But again, to my point, a lot of their games are most of the time worth the price, even though I hate to admit it, because I would say this is my stance on the successes of this company.
So Mario Backyard Sports is worth $60 and
No. I'm not talking about them games.
That's the thing, though. I know what you're saying, but I'm saying those games, like the little Mario. It was a game going for a dumb price, bro. They had Hello Kitty going for a dumb price, and they had Mario Classic Bros. We talking about these. This is Mario Bros. Where you pull the turnips,
right?
Like, they had that going for a premium, bro. Mario Sports Mix. I'm looking like, bro.
But what is Nintendo? Is Nintendo a conglomerate? Does Nintendo have stakes in like movies like Sony? No, they literally have what they have, and that is games. That is why they gouge. That is why they create these extra games with their mascots, and they're so protective of them, because that is their business. That is what they have in order to sell. They don't have anything else. And there's not a company like Nintendo that still is surviving. No other company is surviving. Nintendo is its own thing, and they're surviving because they gouge, and they surviving because they have those practices. But how do you make that practice work as well as be for the consumer? Because that is what they are neglecting, their fan base. They're neglecting the fan base. They are creating these they're not needed. They're just creating these barriers that are simply not needed. What do they succeed at? Again, they succeed at creating these characters and making you fall in love with them over time. They create these moments in time where everybody stopped to play Zelda. And even though Zelda had borrowed from a lot of different, genres, and we probably play something similar, nothing can compare to my journey and Zelda as yours was compared to your journey in Zelda. If I played The Witcher 9 times out of 10, we probably did everything the same kind of way, even though you had a little bit of a flexibility. But when it comes to Zelda, as y'all, informed me, I had to really think about it, because I watched my wife play it for almost 30 days plus straight. And she literally did everything. She did nothing and most of that stuff, the way she did it, I had no idea you could do it that way. I had no idea how stuff interacted that way. So they create these moments, and they're very good at creating these sad moments. So what they capitalize on is their games, their characters, that content. What they do terrible is the support. The support system for this said games, for these products. They don't do hardware well. I don't believe they do that well. They still neglect the fact that they have a non-competing system. They neglect the fact that they cannot run everything, because they feel as if we can run our games at a point that we want to, it's good enough for everybody, when that's just not the case. Their games should be able to run well as third parties. They have not gotten to that point, but again, I don't think they care, because they're not consumer focused. They do not care for the third party experience to be good. They only care for their experience to be good, and that's why they win and lose solely off of what they present as first party exclusives. And that's the sad truth. Honestly, I hope that they continue to move forward, because I can't find any Zelda experiences anywhere. I can't find any Mario Galaxy experiences anywhere else. I can't even find, most of the time, Xenoblade experiences anywhere else. So these games that come out and I'm a fan of, I have to go to their console and play. But after that, they're not touched. They're not touched at all. I don't do anything on it. They have the worst ecosystem out of all of the big three, because they don't do anything for that. And again, when it's so much riding on your games being successful and people actually wanting to play them, you would think you would want to diversify. You will want to actually diversify your product enough to be standing tall with everything else. You saw what they did with the Wii U. It again was a more expensive product that didn't even serve what they were trying to get across. It didn't serve that purpose. It wasn't a third-party killer. It wasn't the best thing to play third-party games on, and it wasn't even the best thing to play their exclusives on. So it ended up being a flop. This, on the other hand, because it had so much new functionality, they basically killed their DS to make this purpose work. They killed the DS to make this purpose work. I don't think they have anything else to kill in order to make this purpose work. So what are they going to innovate next time to make this substantial? I hope that it is to bring it up to speed. I'm not saying be the next Series X. They don't even have a chance in the world to do that. But they do have the ability to make a level playing field, make it where it's 1080 Ti experience, most of the Xbox One X and the PS4 Pro is at that point. To get past that point, I mean, and I do not want these PC people to come after me, but I'm saying that it's on a level of playing like that. I mean, obviously we got the 60 frames, whatever, but I'm saying it has a level to play at 1080 Ti. Next Series X and all that stuff is going to be surpassing that. I will rather it be at 1080 Ti versus not. So everything else probably going to surpass that. Series X, PS5, Nintendo bringing itself to that point will allow it to at least be in the game. Be in the game, to be able to allow me to say, I think I'll play it on my Switch just because I can move it around with me and I can take it anywhere. And I don't have to play Xenoblade at 540p. Because this is what you have to do. Even the games that you're now making exclusives aren't running as well as you would like. And it's causing an issue. And it makes it feel as if I am being punished because I am locked behind your said system. And that shouldn't be the case, because nothing is running at 540p at this point. Nothing's running at 720p at this point but you. So I think they have a little catching up to do. Again, my success will always be that their characters, how they play the game, how they create their worlds, their innovativeness, they're willing to try new ideas. That is something I've always, admired about them. That's why I enjoyed the Wii. That's why I still enjoy my Wii U, and I still enjoy my Switch, just because of the innovation behind it. But to be a contender is something that's really gonna stand out and actually, have a foot in this. I'm not saying be on their level. I'm just saying catch up a little. And once you catch up, I think it'll be for the better. I think you're going to see way more engagement on your games that you have online, outside of Smash, because people just love Smash. You're going to see way more people playing maybe your Splatoon, your ARMS game, those type of games, where it can be a scene on it if the tools were there to implement it well. So that's my piece on it. What you guys have before we kind of wrap it up here?
Shoot, I mean, I know I just went on a tangent. Like Diontae said, I still enjoy Nintendo. Some of their games are premium product. Some of them,
price, premium. You mean premium products that match the pricing? Okay, I see what you're saying.
So, gotcha. That's fine. I don't really like what they do to the YouTube channel. Now I'm saying bad things again. They messed up Pokemon, man. That hurt me. They messed that junk up, bro. But anyways,
Sword and Shield, man. You ain't like those? What you mean?
Man, dude, Pokemon been on this. It's been downtrodden, man.
On the decline. They said 3D characters. You gotta love it.
Man, it ain't the same, bro. But I don't know. It might just be the whole change thing I talked about earlier. Maybe I'm just not used to the change. But I mean, I got the Xenoblade. I'm gonna play that. I play a lot of Nintendo stuff. I just wish it was something that people would be more inclined to have in their household, but it's not. A lot of the people I'm around, at least, they like to play like stuff like 2K and stuff like that, and for that reason, Nintendo just won't make it into their homes. And maybe if they have more sales, or I don't know, they got the money, bro. So I don't even really care. Anyway, Nintendo's straight. I don't hate them. They straight. I'm gonna leave it at that.
All right, Nintendo man. What you got?
I mean,
we know you want to blow up.
I'm just asked. So for you, Diontae, you say you want to play more on the Nintendo Switch, but because of
limitations,
performance,
you
don't want to do it.
Exactly. So sometimes when I see the pro of moving around with my game in my hands, I see that maybe I can play a smaller experience that I wouldn't want to get the full HDR, 4K, all that crap. Maybe, like, say, for instance, I know they recently launched, I'm not sure if Ori and the in
Yeah,
the
Ori is
Wisp.
on there. The new one, I don't think so, but the first one is.
So like I never beat the first one. I would go and play it on there, but I know it's like it would be a different experience right now than what if I was just playing on there. Like those smaller games, I have no problem playing on my Switch. I have no reason to turn it on outside of Nintendo actually putting out a new game. So why would I want to pay into that ecosystem? Like I said, I could still play on it now. I just don't want to pay into that ecosystem that doesn't really benefit me in any other way than the exclusives that they provide. Microsoft actually benefits me in different ways where I'm just like, all right, I'll play it on here. Even though I could play it on my PC. Even though I could play it somewhere else. It's just like it's easier for me to say justify buying into an ecosystem if there actually is support for said eco. Right now, I don't see that support. I don't see them even wanting to create a place for people to come and game outside of their stuff. So that's why I'm more so, a little bit hesitant to try new things. I mean, try anything on there. Like I never played Doom. Like I don't see how you did it, but I never played Doom on that system ever. Even if it was and this is something that they push to get over there. I would never play it on that system because it's at 30 frames per second, and it doesn't even keep it locked. It's like it falls, and the frame rate is terrible. I would never play it on that because that's a poor experience. But to put somebody like for me, that's a pixel pusher. That's probably going to be always something that's going to stop me. But to buy into an ecosystem, just to play games on it, just to give, like, even if they started to bring their back catalog in, providing an ecosystem that's smart and educated creates a better experience overall, makes people want to spend more money with you. It kind of makes them want to stick around because they know that if they invest now, it's going to continue moving forward. Just like I would with Xbox. I don't care about buying 360 games. I know if I buy a 360 game now, it's going to work on my next system. If I buy an Xbox One game now, it's going to work on my next system. Like, just like the PlayStation 5 is, I don't know if they're going to really fully do it, but they're at least pretending right now that they're going to actually have everything working when you move over. I want that same experience when it comes to Nintendo. I want to be able to say, when I buy into your system and your eco, I don't have to worry about you, trying to gouge me for something. I would be open to paying $60 and not buying it physical to resale value because you gouge the price. I wouldn't worry about those types of things, but I do that because I don't want to invest in as much as they want me to for something that I don't feel like invest in me. So, or invest in what we want. So why would I do that for them? That's all I was trying to get at. It's kind of like, giving. It's a give and take kind of relationship, and all they do is take. They don't really give. So I don't have no point. I don't have no reason to provide any type of substance to that company outside of what I want to play. When I don't want to play it, I'm gone. Period.
Yeah. Okay. And I don't think you have to like. Well, obviously, we talk about how we feel about the companies, but for me, you don't have to like the company per se, as long as you're okay with what they're offering.
Mm-hmm.
The games are expensive for first party games, and third party games on the Switch are usually expensive too. And so, I haven't personally bought a Switch game for a while. I think maybe the last one was like Astral Chain.
Mm-hmm.
But I bought it because it was a game that I was interested in. The performance on it was.
Did you buy Animal Crossing or
Oh yeah, I bought Animal Crossing. I forgot about that. I haven't played it.
Okay.
Yeah, Animal Crossing, and I don't remember what else came out before that. So.
I got my Animal Crossing. I ain't touched my house since. But it was a craze at first, man. They was going nuts. They still going nuts, but yeah.
Yeah. I guess for me, I've always played console games, so I'm used to Destiny running at 30 FPS on the PS4 and
Don't get me started
25
on
on the Xbox and stuff like that. So games on the Switch not necessarily running the best. I guess I'm used to because it does the same thing on the PS4 and on Xbox.
Mm-hmm.
But I understand what you mean. Like if you're gonna pay $10 for the game on PS4 and it runs okay, and $60 on the Switch and it runs terrible, then yeah, like I can see that there's a big deficit and the reason why you would do that. And that's just the power of the system, I guess. Do y'all? I think Jalen's complaints were a little different, but like, do you think Nintendo should just make a box like the Xbox that's not portable, so they don't have to sacrifice anything?
No. The best thing going for them is the portability. If they lose the portability, it would be a problem. It'd be like they'd now be back in the realm of we judging you based off of what Xbox and PS5 doing and you failing. I don't want them. I don't want that for them. I think that
they already lost that race back with the Wii.
Yeah, I don't want them in that box no more. I want them to be creative. I want them to be innovative. I want them to be different,
non-forceful.
Give options. But I also want them to respect my dollar as well, respect my time and my impact, because they'll never in my eyes be better than other companies that kind of push the envelope, because solely based off, you can be as innovative as you want, but if you cannot create a system for me that makes me feel like I am also being represented in this system, like anytime they make something, they are innovative when it comes to it, but if I'm not represented in this system, like nobody asks for me's, nobody asks for the Wii U motion controls, nobody asks for the portability of the Switch, but they gave it to us because they knew they had the preemptive design to make it say, we want this experience to be for everybody, and we want you to play how we want you to kind of play. So if I'm buying into that already with my money, I would respect you more if you actually understood the importance of party chat, of an online service, of some freebies, and every now and again some discount sales, something that shows me that not only do you want me to be on your platform, but you respect my dollar enough to say, hey, these games have been out for a while, let's put some discounts on them so that we can get people to actually experience. It doesn't seem like they want us to experience it unless we pay that ticket price. So they don't care about exposing more people to the game, or getting it hot again, because they know it's hot enough. And that's what like a slap in the face. It's like, oh, we know it's hot enough, and you sooner or later, boy, you gonna pay for it. And if you don't pay for it, you'll never experience it in your life. So that's kind of how I feel about it. And that's what Jalen was saying. It was like, oh, $60 for Mario Olympics. Like, no, I'm not paying $60 for Mario and Sonic at the Olympics. I'm not paying $60 for half the games just because it has Mario slapped on it. It's like, no, but they want you to, because they don't care necessarily about you actually either, I guess, ranging the prices for what it's worth, versus because we need to meet these margins and we don't care. Anybody that wants to pay this game is always going to pay $60, and we know we're going to get our back end regardless. If we sell 1 million copies, we still don't get that back end because we ain't selling them for $15. So it's like, that's how they is, and that's how they always going to be until they change. I don't feel like I'm going to ever be super into their ecosystem ever. I think it's probably going to be always where I'm just buying their system because they make great games. And sometimes those great games come with a lot of flawed eco, and I'm okay with that. I have to respect that because, and they have to respect me buying it all physical and selling it for $45 because they don't never go down. So the resale community never goes down either. So most of the time I'm paying $20 to $15 to play their game, and I sell it after I'm done. And if it's a really good game, I keep it. But other than that, no, not buying digital. I don't
They
want
the
to.
type
So
of people that
I
want GameStop to be gone, so they can get people to keep paying for their
Exactly.
premium prices.
Mm-hmm.
so this question is not necessarily for me, but maybe somebody's listening. Like you bought Zelda for $60 and played it, but it, I don't know. You guys sound negative based on the price of it.
No, that's worth 60. I never say that certain games aren't worth it. I'm saying that every game that they put out is not worth $60. I'm just saying that at a certain point, like most of their games, they never go down in price.
That eShop,
like
man,
like
don't
like
buy nothing off that eShop.
but before we move on, Microsoft does it and Sony does it too. Like now, Sony has a better implementation because that's what they do. They put it in the greatest hits collection. Greatest hits collection is $20, and they have put their best games in that greatest hit collection, and they're still single player one time through. Uncharted 4, Bloodborne, God of War, Horizon. These games are $20 in their greatest hits because they are republish them as that because they don't care about the price anymore. They want people to actually play it. They want people to enjoy their system. Nintendo
So
Horizon. Go ahead. Sorry.
I would say I agree with the pricing. I don't think that necessarily means you can't enjoy the system, but comparing games to games. So if you want to play Fire Emblem,
Mm-hmm.
Fire Emblem $60. You can, go pay the $60, but maybe you don't know if you'll enjoy it because you've never played Fire Emblem.
Right.
Same thing but you also have a PS4, and you can pay $10, $20 for God of War. And you don't know if you're going to enjoy it, but it's a much cheaper entry price. So you are more willing to take that risk because you're spending less of a price. That makes sense. Nintendo has to make a product that's able to compete, even though they don't want to compete directly with other systems. You're still competing for people's time and money. And Nintendo doesn't necessarily do that. They say, this is our product, this is how much it costs, and hope you buy it. Whereas other companies are willing to lower their price to make it more attractive while also offering a high quality game. I can't personally complain about the price of third party games. That's all the companies on the Switch being greedy. Like Ubisoft put Assassin's Creed on there and it's $60. That's because Ubisoft is greedy in that situation. So that's okay because I don't personally care, but I understand that Switch games on themselves are expensive, and really that's just you gotta buy it used because buying a new Switch game is expensive.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like that eShop, man. I don't even look on there no more. There ain't no point. I don't want to see $59.99 or $39.99. I'm tired of it. Go to my 3DS, $39.99. Go to my Switch, $59.99.
Yeah. Well, it's the name of the game, but the eShop has become a dumping ground for indies. So you can find anything, a lot of stuff, for 89 cents to $1.99, and it's ridiculous. But I get what you're saying, and I get the whole point of, and I told you, and it all plays back to the reason why they do it, because Nintendo again is a gaming company. It's not a branch of a company. It's the company. Microsoft is not a gaming company. It's a branch of it that does Xbox. Sony is not a gaming company. It's a branch of it that does gaming. So their success again rides on them gouging prices at points. Not saying it's right, but that's what they have to do, and I get it. I just don't have to respect it, nor do I have to buy into it, and that's what my situation is. And I get your point as well, Josh. I think being able to differentiate the fact that they're making good games and they're making games that really can't get anywhere else, and being okay with paying that price point because you're feeling like you're getting your value, that's totally fine. But I have only felt like I've gotten my value on 2 games. and I would say that would be Xenoblade Chronicles 2 and Zelda Galaxy. I feel like, yeah, it was worth $60 at the time. It shouldn't be worth 60 now. It's Zelda is the only game that I feel like kept its value. It's a new experience every time. Galaxy, no, no, I don't. It's not Nintendo's. It's not Super Mario 64. It's not one of those games where I feel like I can play $6 every time and keep it going. I won't buy Galaxy again unless it's $20, and I have no problem doing that because I don't care enough. So it's your perspective on what's worth it. My perspective on what's worth it is not Galaxy. My perspective on what's worth it is $60 for Zelda, sure. $60 again for Chronicles 2, sure. If they come with the DLC, because that's what I want to play. But I don't see myself going out to buy other games at a full price again, even though they are already still selling at that set price. So it's creating that difference in there. I can go out and buy some of PlayStation's greatest games right now for cheap. Persona 5, Horizon, Uncharted, God of War. I can go out and buy some of Xbox's greatest games for cheap. And that's no problem because, again, it comes back to that point of I'm not going to gouge our customers because we already know they're going to buy into this ecosystem. We want them to play our games. We want them to enjoy it. We don't want them to enjoy it and have a good time. Nintendo, on the other hand, they only have this. So they have to continue to do this. And until they find a way to get me into this and provide an experience that creates a warm, I would call it, give me a warming feeling that I don't feel like I'm being just gouged, then I never see it. They'll never see my money on a strong scale like Xbox and PlayStation has. They never do it. But that's me. Any last final closing remarks? Because we at the 1 hour and 41 minutes mark.
Yeah, I understand. For me, like y'all know, I buy the games on the Switch because they're portable. I don't. There are some remasters I'll buy on there, but I don't buy them all because, like you said, they're expensive. So there's no reason to spend $60 for a game that I've played before.
Mm-hmm.
Because I just want to try it on the handheld.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I think it's a situation where they want to offer, like you said, quality games, but maybe compared to their competition, it's hard to see that quality. Like if they have, what's the last Mario game? Mario Maker 2 that comes out. If everybody is not interested in Mario Maker 2, then give them an opportunity to try it at a cheaper price to get into it. Whereas like you don't have to worry about that on PlayStation because the game is going to decrease in value and it's going to be $10 at some time to just jump in. Or Xbox, they have Game Pass, so you just buy that and get into it. Maybe Nintendo's model overall it's traditional but kind of outdated compared to the other systems.
Mm-hmm.
So they can have some sort of, obviously they're never going to do it, but Nintendo had a Game Pass type thing where any game can be on there. Then that creates a more attractive ecosystem and product for people who want to get into there and spend their time playing multiple games on that system.
Yeah.
Otherwise, they're just going to live and die on the quality of their exclusives.
And and that's what it is. This generation, they have been managing it very well. I wouldn't say completely well, but they have been sparsing them out. They have been putting out games. I just don't know what the next 2 years look like, but they always can bring out something else. People are always more than willing to buy something from Nintendo that has been remastered or a definitive edition. They have plenty of that stuff in stock. They can continue to do that for a long time until they come ready for Breath of the Wild 2. Then they back on top with the smackaroos, and that's that. But that's pretty much been our time. Thank you guys for listening. Appreciate the support. But that's pretty much it. Again, this is the House of Wolves podcast, and it's me again, Diontae, Josh, Nintendo Man, and then we have Jalen, disappearing act right now, but he's our Square Enix guy. Oh, he's there. Okay,
I'm right here, and I don't hate Nintendo.
he doesn't hate Nintendo. He loves Square Enix.
Nah, that's entirely false.
Sorry.
They cool.
Yeah.
They alright.
Yeah, alright. Yeah. All right. Thanks for listening.